Certified by Weather Rate, Knoxville's most accurate forecast. This is your forecast first from the WATE 6 on Your Side Storm Team. Brought to you by Knoxville Wholesale Furniture, the furniture you want.
All right, good Tuesday morning. Coming up on 6 a.m. Yesterday's high temperature 91. Sunday's high temperature was 91. Today, 91 again. Heat index readings in the triple digits, about 101 or 102 at times in spots. I can't rule out a few storms, but it's not going to give you much relief. Very brief relief. Tomorrow, much better shot at some thunderstorms, and it's actually going to cool it off a little bit. And that cooler air will stick around for days. 83 on Thursday, still unsettled, but not nearly as hot. We'll show you how long we stay a bit cooler on Good Morning Tennessee. It starts right now.
Good Morning Tennessee from WATE 6 on Your Side starts now.
Coming up on Good Morning Tennessee, efforts stalling once again to delay the execution for Tennessee death row inmate Billy Ray Irick. Why Governor Haslam says he won't intervene.
Plus the wildfires in California, now the largest ever recorded in state history. How much the flames have spread overnight.
And police now reminding drivers about school zone safety as kids get ready to head back to class. How you can make sure everyone stays safe for the start of the new school year. Good Morning Tennessee starts right now. Good Morning Tennessee, I'm Tirsa Smith.
And I'm Mark Mellinger, in this week for Bo Williams, and today's big stories are coming right at you.
That's right, but first we have to talk about your forecast as you get ready to start your day. We're watching some rain that could be headed our way today.
Yeah,
Trent?
we've got a few storms today, kind of like yesterday. I mean, it's just hot, it's humid, a few storms outside. Will give us a little bit of relief, but not much. It's not going to be a whole lot of relief. We're in the 70s this morning. Dry, just on the foggy side. Kind of hard to say dry when you walk outside and start sweating instantly. But 72 by 7 o'clock, 76 by 9, and then, yeah, almost 80 by 10. Now, with that 91-degree high today, it'll feel like 100 degrees. Visibility could be a concern in spots less than a mile in Madisonville. Just give yourself a little bit of extra time, but it shouldn't be anything too widespread, and I don't have any crazy numbers. Today, low chances, but still some. Tomorrow, much better rain chances, and they could be even stronger. Gotta watch that shot at damaging storms tomorrow. We'll show you that timeline coming up.
All right, thank you so much, Trent. Want to give you a live look outside as we watch your morning drive right now. Looking fantastic out on the interstate. TDOT not reporting any slowdowns or delays or major accidents. This is I-40 at Middlebrook. We'll keep watching things. If we see anything that'll make your drive a bit of a hassle, we'll pass that along.
6:01 and now the news. Governor Haslam is now saying he will not intervene in the case of death row inmate Billy Ray Irick.
As we've been telling you, Irick is scheduled to be executed on Thursday. He will be the first inmate to be executed in Tennessee since 2009. Now, Governor Haslam releasing a statement last night saying, in part, quote, after careful consideration, I am declining to intervene in the case of Billy Ray Irick. Going on to say, my role is not to be the 13th juror or the judge or to impose my personal views, but to carefully review the judicial process to make sure it was full and fair. Now, because of the extremely thorough judicial review of all of the evidence and arguments at every stage in this case, clemency is not appropriate. Now, Governor Haslam's decision coming on the same day the state Supreme Court rejected the most recent bid to toss out Billy Ray Irick's execution date. His attorneys challenging the state's lethal injection method. Irick is one of 33 inmates involved in that challenge.
We are also taking a look back at Irick's 1985 crime that landed him on death row, digging into the WATE archives from more than 30 years ago. Irick was convicted and sentenced for the murder and aggravated rape of 7-year-old Paula Dyer. Irick, a family friend, babysitting Paula at the time. Paula's grandmother telling us Irick made threats at her house, angry and jealous because the family had other babysitters. Decades of reviews, appeals, and stays followed his conviction in 1986. In 2010, Irick was granted a stay based on claims he was mentally incompetent to be executed. The Tennessee Supreme Court rescheduled his execution for October 2014, but it was once again delayed in 2015 after his attorneys argued the single drug lethal injection using pentobarbital was unconstitutional. The state Supreme Court refused to hear the case in January of 2018 and rescheduled Irick's execution for August 9th, which of course is where we are now. Again, Billy Ray Irick is scheduled to be executed Thursday. It is set for 8 o'clock that night.
New this morning, a former Campbell County pastor accused of rape, now pleading guilty to the charges against him. We've learned Jimmy Orrick pleaded guilty yesterday morning to 3 counts of aggravated statutory rape, 3 counts of attempted statutory rape by an authority figure, and 2 counts of sexual battery by an authority figure. Back in March, we told you Orrick entered a not guilty plea to the charges after his arrest in February at a home in Jacksboro. Orrick is the former pastor of the Mountain View Independent Baptist Church. His sentencing is set for December 14th.
Experts say the twin fires rapidly spreading in Northern California are now comprising the state's largest wildfire in history.
I mean, this is something else. The fires, known as the Mendocino Complex, fills an area the size of Los Angeles.
This is also the second straight year California has recorded its largest wildfire. On Monday, the flames grew to just over 280,000 acres, surpassing last year's fire in Southern California. The fire has burned 75 homes so far, and thousands of people are being forced to evacuate.
2 hikers caught near a new fire burning in Southern California were rescued on Monday. Experts say the brush fire in the Cleveland National Forest was an area that hadn't burned in nearly 4 decades. It sparked just after 1 p.m. and grew quickly to more than 1,000 acres in a few hours. Precautionary evacuation orders have been given to people living nearby.
A federal judge now agreeing to dismiss some parts of the lawsuit filed in connection to the Ooltewah High School rape case. We have been following this story since 2015. A high school basketball player was raped with a pool cue and 3 others were attacked at a cabin in Gatlinburg. The case alleges the Hamilton County Board of Education failed to protect students on that trip. Well, the judge now ruling former Ooltewah basketball coach Andre Montgomery, athletic director Jesse Nayadley, and principal James Jarvis did not violate the constitutional rights of the victims. Again, the entire suit has not been dismissed, just parts of it. The remainder of it can and will still continue in court.
The Knox County Sheriff's Office is investigating possible animal abuse in northwest Knox County. This after a dead dog was found in Bull Run Creek over the weekend. We are told the black and brown Brindle Shepherd mix was recently groomed and wearing a flea collar. It appears someone tossed the animal over the bridge off of Hill Road. Anyone with information is asked to call the Knox County Sheriff's Office at 865-215-2243.
Knoxville police still working to identify a man's body found out in the woods in North Knoxville. That body was found yesterday afternoon between a hillside and some railroad tracks near the 4300 block of Broadway. The discovery made by 2 men looking for their loved one who'd recently been reported missing. Investigators say the body was a man who had been dead for an extended period of time. They could not identify the body on the scene, so the remains have been taken in for an autopsy. Of course, we'll be sure to keep you updated on this investigation.
A lawsuit filed against a Knoxville hotel group claiming racial discrimination and breach of contract. The lawsuit was filed against the owners and operators of Sheridan Knoxville Cumberland House Hotel. That's located along White Avenue right next to World's Fair Park. Don Marie and Kyle Jackson claimed the hotel violated the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Tennessee Human Rights Act. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of a mother and son who came to Knoxville from New Orleans during mandatory evacuations during last year's hurricane season. They tried extending their reservations as hurricane activity continued, but were allegedly denied service because of their race, even though they were willing to pay in advance. We reached out to the Sheridan Knoxville Cumberland House Hotel for comment, but no word back just yet.
Knox County Schools talking school safety as a new school year gets ready to start tomorrow.
One thing school officials and police are focusing on is school zone safety, enforcing a new hands-free cell phone law this year to keep kids safe.
That's right. WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Whitney Good joins us now live with what you need to know as kids get ready to head back to class. Whitney?
Good morning, Mark and Tiercy. Yeah, a lot of it is just reminding people, getting them back into those habits of remembering that these school zones are out there. There will be a press conference here at Rocky Hill Elementary later this morning to talk more about that. And you did mention that new law. That's one thing that they're focusing on this year as well. They are focusing on enforcing that no one in school zones can be on their phones unless it's in a hands-free mode. So you need to keep that in mind. And also, anyone under the age of 18 cannot be using their phone at all in a school zone. So definitely remember that as well. Officers saying They will be out focusing on speeding, seatbelts, and cell phone usage. And this law went into effect in January of this year. We talked to KPD about the importance of that and being on your phone at any time. And here's what they told us.
If you stop and think about it, at 55 miles an hour, and I hope nobody's driving 55 miles an hour in the school zone, but at 55 miles an hour, if you look down at your phone to answer a text or read a text, you've driven the length of a football field with your eyes closed, basically.
That's pretty scary to think about. Now, also something pretty scary to think about, KPD alone issued 710 citations in school zones last year for various reasons. So they want to keep everyone safe. They don't want to have that many citations, that many reasons to issue citations this year. So remember that as we're getting out in the school zones tomorrow morning as school heads back. Now, coming up in the next half hour, we'll have more on the things you need to remember and how you can stay safe in school zones. For now, I'll send things back to you, Mark and Tirsa.
Okay, important stuff. Thank you, Whitney. And it is back to school this morning for more students across East Tennessee. It's the first day of class for students in Athens, McMinn County, Roane County, and Bell County, Kentucky.
Well, Bob Dylan is coming to Knoxville. The legendary singer-songwriter is scheduled to play at the Tennessee Theater on Halloween, October 31st at 7:30. According to Ticketmaster's website, tickets go on sale to the general public this Friday at 10 a.m. Prices range from $62.50 to $129.50.
Chance to
Can
see
you
a
imagine?
legend.
I know.
That'd be a lot of fun.
All right, the FDA expanding a recall for blood pressure and heart medications.
Why certain prescriptions could cause cancer, coming up.
Plus, new video now surfacing of a plane crash in a shopping mall parking lot in California. What it's revealing about the plane's final moments in the air.
And our humidity staying elevated the rest of the week and into the weekend. So are our rain chances. We'll show you all of that on your 7-day forecast coming up after the break. You're watching Good Morning Tennessee from WATE 6 on your side.
Here's Knoxville's most accurate forecast from the WATE 6 on your side storm team.
Good morning to you. Time right now to 6:14. Hopefully I had a chance to get out and run some errands yesterday. We're starting to wind down those opportunities.
We are starting to wind down those opportunities with the kids going to school, and you know it's still miserably hot outside. I mean, you know.
Come on, bring all the good news, Mark.
No,
Keep going.
beating around the bush here. It is still terrible outside.
Sorry, not to
And
be
these
Debbie Downer or
kids and
anything.
back to school.
Go back to bed. Just skip the day. No, today's going to be a good day. Just like yesterday, just like Sunday. It's hot. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be humid also. It's going to be super sweaty. Back in the low 90s. 91 for a high again today. Third day in a row. We're back at about 85 by lunchtime. Now, that only tells half the story because when you factor in the humidity, the wetter the air is, so your body, it sweats, and it's not that actually cools itself off. It's that sweat evaporating off of your skin. That's what cools your body down. So if you have more moisture in the air, evaporation is slower, so your body has to work even harder. It's harder to stay cool. Long story short, it's going to be super sweaty today. So make sure you're staying hydrated and keeping yourself cool somehow. I've got some fog outside. Most of these 5s, 8s, 9s, 10s, these aren't going to slow you down, but the 0.00, 0.5, that will, 0.75. Anything less than a half a mile, you really got to add some extra time. Anything over that, you're probably okay for the most part. Just be careful. Give yourself a little bit of extra time and take it easy. Had some rain near Sevierville. Now we've got some rain moving up and over the mountains. Again, that I-40 corridor, dry right now, probably foggy, but dry, at least rain-free. You've got a couple showers that will likely try to make its way in there. 70 in Athens, 66 in Crossville right now. Most of us rain-free, just a little foggy. That fog fades, turns into some clouds this afternoon, and then some thunderstorms. Lunchtime, we should still be mainly dry, mainly rain-free. It'll be hot. It'll be incredibly humid. I'm talking about 85, feeling more like the low 90s. And then check it out. Once we get into the afternoon, you got a couple storms that kind of pop up. They're essentially pulse thunderstorms. You think about it as a pulse. They'll pulse up, and then they'll fade back down. Pulse up and fade back down. There's really not going to be a huge strengthening component to this. They'll grow. They'll rain themselves out, and then they'll fade away. So things we're going to have to watch for today. Heavy rain, lightning, gusty winds. Limited coverage, though. Most of us just hot and humid. Tomorrow, different story. Check it out. We start off with some fog. By the afternoon, watch this main line. We're going to have some organization to tomorrow's storms, and that's going to give us more coverage and what could be the potential for some stronger storms. So we are weather aware on your Wednesday. After that rolls out of here, our storm chances start to drop slowly heading into the weekend, but our humidity, it stays high. Temperatures are going to cool off a bit, but man, is it going to be a muggy week of August for sure. Highs in the low 80s after Wednesday's storms, Tirsa.
Goodness gracious, we have a lot of lightning strikes on that 7-day. All right, let's talk about your drive. If you're heading out this morning, it is still nice and quiet. Knock on wood, it does not change. I'm giving you a live look outside right now as we watch that morning drive. I-40 at Cherry from the east end. Good morning to all of our friends there, looking great east and westbound. I-40 at I-275 downtown Knoxville, shaping up very nicely. If you're out west, I-40 at Bridgewater, looking fantastic, and go just a little further west. I-40 west of Cedar Bluff, looking great as well. If you are headed out right now, again, no slowdowns or delays. We'll keep watching it for you and pass those along throughout. Good morning, Tennessee. That's a look at your forecast and traffic together.
Cheers, thanks. It's 6:17. Let's go ahead and get you caught up on the big stories happening right now. Governor Haslam now saying he will not intervene in the case of death row inmate Billy Ray Irick. This comes as the state Supreme Court denied Irick's bid to delay his execution over the state's lethal injection method. Also, former Campbell County pastor Jimmy Orrick now pleading guilty to rape charges. This comes after he pleaded not guilty initially back in March. And the Knoxville Police Department investigating possible animal abuse. We're told a dog was found dead in Bull Run Creek in northwest Knox County over the weekend. NTSB investigators are looking at dash cam video to try to figure out how a small plane crashed into a shopping mall parking lot in California. Take a look. This happened in Orange County. Dash cam video showing the twin-engine Cessna falling right out of the sky where it crashed into 4 cars. All 5 people on board were killed. No one was hurt on the ground. We're told pilot Scott Shepard called for help during the flight but didn't say what the problem was. The plane was only a mile away from the runway at the John Wayne Airport.
Time right now to 6:19. The father of a missing University of Iowa student says he believes his daughter may be with someone that she knows. We've been telling you about the disappearance of Molly Tibbetts. Her father, Rob Tibbetts, says that she might be with someone who misunderstood her intentions and it spiraled into a bad situation. He says that Molly's kindness, compassion, and outgoing personality might have given someone the wrong idea. The 20-year-old has not been seen since July 18th when she went on a jog. We are told nearly 500 leads are being investigated.
Turning now to an update to a 6 on Your Side recall alert. A recall has now been expanded for certain blood pressure medicines. This is because of a possible cancer risk. We've been telling you some medications being recalled for containing the active ingredient valsartan. The ingredient might not be pure and could contain a possible carcinogen. So here's a list of blood pressure medications affected. Teva, which is labeled as both major pharmaceuticals and activists, Northwind, AS Medical Solutions, and AV Care or AvCare. We should point out the FDA says people taking medication that is being recalled should keep taking it until they have a replacement product. For a full list of what's being recalled, you can head to our website, WATE.com, or our free news app. You'll find the info under the As Seen On section.
Well, we are hearing for the first time this morning from a Texas A&M senior who snapped a jaw-dropping graduation photo with a giant alligator.
ABC's Diane Macedo has the details in this morning's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, this Texas A&M senior is giving "see ya later, alligator" a whole new meaning. Up. Meet Mackenzie Nolan and her best friend Big Tex, a 1,000-pound, nearly 14-foot-long gator.
I am not scared for my life out here. I know I'm in very good hands.
She says the two bonded during her summer internship at Gator Country Rescue, so it seemed only natural that she would take her graduation photos with Tex.
I'm very happy to work with Tex every single day, so I just really wanted him to be a part of this special moment.
Those photos now have over 4,000 likes. And Mackenzie says while Big Tex may look scary, he's really a gentle giant.
He's been a really big part of my summer, and I just hope that he loves me as much as I love him.
We'll have more on these two coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Diane Macedo, ABC News.
He's a big baby. He's real cuddly.
Yeah.
Teeth aren't sharp at all. Intense heat and humidity fueling storms today. It's going to be a hot one for sure. Give yourself some extra time for some fog. This morning it is going to be a little bit of slower drive in spots, but not everywhere. Just be careful. We're hot. We're humid later on today. That 85 will feel like the low 90s. The low 90s, near 90-degree high temperatures today are going to feel like near 100. So yeah, hot and humid with a few storms in the forecast right now. We're rain-free. No problems. Got a little bit of fog in spots, but we're at 70 in Athens, 73 Oak Ridge, 68 Middlesboro. Not a bad start to the day by any means, but as we go through the day, we're going to shift our focus from this intense heat and humidity over to a few what could be strong storms tomorrow. We're weather aware, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Trent. The Met Cultural Exchange Center is kicking off its annual 8th of August Jubilee tomorrow, and they are bringing a civil rights icon to Knoxville.
How you can commemorate a portion of Tennessee history next.
Good morning to you and welcome back. On August 8, 1863, Tennessee military governor Andrew Johnson freed his personal slaves. This took place 7 months after the Emancipation Proclamation declared all slaves free in the United States. Well, August 8th is also the date where once Chilhowie Park only allowed African Americans 1 day a year until desegregation in 1948. Well, the Beck Cultural Exchange Center commemorates this historic date with its 4th annual citywide 8th of August Jubilee. Joining us this morning is the 2015 National Civil Rights Museum Freedom Award winner Joan Trumpower Mulholland and award-winning film producer Loki Mulholland, who happens to be her son as well. Good morning to both of you all.
Good morning.
It is absolutely an honor to have both of you all here. You're special guests of the Beck Cultural Exchange Center, kicking off the big Jubilee tomorrow. First, let's talk about a new film that you will be premiering right here in Knoxville, Loki.
Yes, Black, White, and Us. It's a documentary about racism through the lens of transracial adoptions.
And what does that mean?
So
what are you looking at?
Well, that's white families who adopt black children or children of color. And typically these families believe that racism doesn't exist anymore or that we've moved beyond it.
Okay.
And then they adopt these children and suddenly they realize, oh my gosh, and racism becomes very personal.
And so this movie is going to be premiering right here in Knoxville. This is not the first movie you've done.
No.
What others have you done?
Well, last year I was here with the Uncomfortable Truth about the history of institutional racism in America, told through a family story, going all the way back to Jamestown. The documentary prior to that was the one about my mother, called An Ordinary Hero.
And if you don't know Joan, I know you've seen her photo. It's one of those iconic civil rights photos. In fact, it's on your shirt when you were arrested. You have such an extensive history when it comes to civil rights. How did you get to this place?
I'm just a troublemaker from the get-go. Ask my mama.
You are a troublemaker.
I think it was when I was about 10 years old in Oconee, Georgia, not the resort, the logging town, and saw the school for black students. It was a shack with one outhouse, so this whole, unisex bathroom thing ain't nothing new. They had it in Oconee in the 50s. But knowing out the other side of town was the fanciest building for miles around, a brand new brick school for white kids, and I knew this was wrong. We weren't practicing what we preached about love thy neighbor. And I knew that somehow I would do something to help change it. And my opportunity came when the sit-ins started.
So you were part of the sit-ins, you've been arrested, you've been hunted by the Klan, disowned by your family, you name it.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good. So you'll be speaking today with Loki. You all will be talking about tomorrow about the movie. And what else will you be discussing?
About how we still have a lot of that needs fixing to change and get out there and do it. You hear me?
I do hear you. Now, I have to, for transparency, I have to say I'm also very honored to have her here. Joan is actually the first white woman to join my sorority, my international sorority with 200,000 members worldwide, and Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So just a lot of history right here with us. And so we just thank you for coming to Knoxville.
Well, thank you for having us here.
Oh my goodness. There's going to be a lineup. We should also note on Saturday, they're going to have a full lineup of events at Chilhowie. They're going to be doing karaoke. They have somehow roped me into doing karaoke, and I don't sing. So let's make that very apparent. But if you do want to go on August 8th, they're going to have the big premiere for the event. We'll have everything on our website, WATE.com, in the As Seen On section, so you can go out and hear the speech, not only about the movie, but talk a little bit more about your work as a freedom fighter. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, let's send things back over now to the start of the next half hour.
Good Morning Tennessee from WATE 6 on your side starts now.
Coming up in this half hour of Good Morning Tennessee, the city of Knoxville now discussing how to tackle homelessness downtown, what their two-part plan calls for to address this issue. Plus, Knox County teachers getting their classrooms ready for the new school year, but how much of their own money do they use for the much-needed supplies? We take a closer look at teacher spending coming up. And good morning, Tennessee. It is 6:30. I'm Mark Mellinger. Tirsa will be joining us at the desk here in just a moment. She's, busy with some special guests still, and with good reason.
Yes.
But Trent McGill is here as always with a look at your forecast.
And we're going to talk about another hot day, another hot, humid day. Third day in a row of about 90, 91 degrees. So get ready for the heat, get ready for the humidity. It is going to be a scorcher, a sweaty day today, to say the least. That feels like, you see that bottom right corner of your screen? It says 72 now. That feels like it's 97 by 4 o'clock later on today. So drink your water, stay hydrated, stay cool. Try to do whatever you can to just get through today, because it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid. I got a few storms, but it's not going to give us enough relief to be anything widespread. A little bit of fog outside right now, but that's not even the big story today. The heat, the humidity is. Tomorrow, the thunderstorms are going to be the big story. We'll talk about how long this fog sticks around here, and then we'll track out tomorrow's storms coming up in just a couple minutes, guys.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Trent. What's being done about the homeless issue here in Knoxville?
City officials now discussing their plans to address the problem.
Many of you passing this scene every day downtown. We are talking about the dozens of homeless people who congregate under I-40 on North Broadway. The city now telling us it is taking action on that issue soon. The first part of the plan is to contract with the Volunteer Ministry Center to hire 2 specialized social workers to help the homeless find the resources they need. Michael Dunthorne with Knoxville's Initiative to Curb Homelessness says it's more important to focus on what it'll take to get people into a home of their own than it is to simply relocate them.
Ultimately, our goal is to not have people unsheltered and out on the streets and remaining homeless. Our goal is to get folks into the resources that are going to help them become permanently housed.
Now, the second part of the plan, the city is working with TDOT to make some changes since technically it's their land. They want to install porta potties, implement open and closing times for the area, and add security. Dunthorne says their plan will cost around $300,000. The city does have some data on homelessness in the Knoxville area, and we've attached a link to some of it on our website. Just head to WATE.com and check the As Seen On section.
City leaders in Chicago are now speaking out after a violent weekend that left 66 people shot. As we've been telling you, police say 12 people were killed by gun violence over the weekend in the Windy City. At least 54 others were hurt. The shootings are even forcing a trauma center to be placed on lockdown because it was so overrun with patients. The city has been working to seize illegal guns and flood high crime areas with police. But now Chicago's mayor is turning to the community, asking them to speak up.
We have a heavy heart. Our souls are burdened. What happened this weekend did not happen in every neighborhood in Chicago, but it is unacceptable to happen in any neighborhood of Chicago.
Despite all this violence, city leaders say shootings are actually down compared to last year by the numbers.
Well, special counsel Robert Mueller's witness taking the stand in the trial of former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort.
Rick Gates telling jurors that he helped his former boss commit crimes.
You may know Gates served as Manafort's business partner for nearly a decade until 2016 when they joined the Trump campaign. Gates pleaded guilty back in February to charges of conspiracy against the U.S. and lying to federal authorities alongside Manafort. Now he is cooperating with the special counsel's investigation. In court Monday, Gates confessed to conspiring with Manafort to commit bank and securities fraud. Manafort, by the way, has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Of course, we'll be sure to let you know what happens in the trial.
President Trump's recent tariffs now affecting businesses in East Tennessee.
Yeah, a spokesperson for Denso is saying the tariffs are going to have a significant impact.
Here's what we know so far. Denso, a Japanese company, is an auto parts supplier with a factory in Maryville. The company saying that tariffs on imported cars and auto parts could cause damage to the business if they're invoked. The tariffs possibly costing the company $600 to $700 million in additional costs every year. That's in addition to some $18 million in additional costs the company is facing due to tariff hikes on steel and aluminum. Now, Denso releasing a statement saying, quote, recent actions on trade and tariffs by the Trump administration will have a significant impact on our business and customers, as well as other auto suppliers and automakers. These tariffs will raise material and component costs, stifle job growth, and slow innovation, which ultimately hurt the U.S. automotive industry and American citizens.
Denso not mincing words. Well, the opposite end of the economic spectrum, dozens of jobs are coming to McMinn County with the expansion of the global tech company Thomas & Betts. The Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development announcing ABB, the company that owns Thomas & Betts, is expanding, adding 60,000 square feet to its operations in Athens, and that's going to create 70 new jobs in McMinn County. We're told the expansion is expected to be complete by 2019. All right, tomorrow's the big day for students in Knox County as they head back to class for a new school year.
School officials will be discussing safety this morning, especially slowing it down in those school zones.
That's right. WATE 6 on your side reporter Whitney Good joins us now live with how you can make sure everyone stays safe as a new year gets underway. Whitney?
Well, Mark and Tirsa, that's really what it's all about, is just staying safe in those school zones, just reminding people, getting them back into the habits of driving through the school zones. We've been out of that habit for a couple months now. Officers saying they will be out really focusing on speeding, seatbelt usage, as well as cell phone usage, because there is now illegal for anyone in a school zone to be using a phone unless it is in hands-free mode. And if you're under the age of 18, you can't use your phone at all in a school zone. So you want to keep that in mind. That law did go into effect of January this year. So this is the first full school year that it will be in effect. Now, Knox County Schools, the Sheriff's Office, and Knoxville Police will be holding a press conference about school safety and school zone safety here at Rocky Hill Elementary. That'll be later this morning at 10 o'clock. And at the end of the hour, we'll get you up to speed on that. Now, keeping with the theme of the first day of school, we've also been talking a lot about how families and teachers have been preparing to get back in the classroom, and for both, the cost of that can really add up. I actually went into a classroom and spoke with one teacher about how she gets ready for school. The school supplies have been flying off the shelves, parents making sure their kids' backpacks are filled with everything they might need. But they're not the only ones doing some shopping. Ginger Cook is spending the week before school starts spending money, making sure her 6th grade history classroom is just right.
I am from prehistory all the way to Rome.
It starts with the seating, tossing out the old desks and chairs, opting for flexible seating.
If you're comfortable not only sitting, but where you sit, you're going to learn better.
But all that comes out of her pocket.
I added some pieces so that we've got more flexible seating this year.
Just about everything in this room she has supplied. Help from people in the community also goes a long way.
A lot of times people will say, hey, I'm going to donate this anyway. I'd rather give it to you so that you can use in your classroom.
BEP funding provided by the state also helps. Each teacher here at Holston Middle School gets $200. Ginger stretching those dollars to get the most bang for her buck.
Right now, I've probably spent about $175. The beginning of the year might be more of a pitfall for money, but it tapers off. My parents have been great the last 2 years of anything I needed.
Making sure that when her students fill these seats, they have what they need to start the school year off right.
Most teachers do spend money out of their own pocket, and it's because we want to.
They really do a lot for their students. Now, she also tells me she calls every single one of her homeroom students' parents before the start of school just to get them more comfortable, get them ready to start the first day of school. And she tells me she gets just as excited about the first day of school every single year, which again is tomorrow for Knox County Schools. Mark and Tirsa.
Oh, just screaming in my head. Are we ready? I don't know. Here we go. All right, for another look at teachers' spending and all of our back-to-school stories, just head to our website, WATE.com, and click on the As Seen On section. Hey, coming up tomorrow, it's all about technology in the classroom. Technology in schools like computers and phones can be beneficial to students, but it can also be a distraction. We take a closer look at the ways it's impacting education. That's tomorrow at 6 a.m. on Good Morning Tennessee. An investigation underway after a DJ is shot at a Wisconsin radio station.
Why police say it was a targeted attack.
Plus, officers spring into action to rescue a victim trapped inside a burning car. Those officers now describing the moments to get that person out alive.
And our rain chances today, they're still relatively low, just a few thunderstorms this afternoon. Tomorrow, it's going to jump up into that scattered category, and they could be even stronger. We'll talk about it. We'll show you that timeline after the break. You're watching Good Morning Tennessee from WATE 6 on your side.
Now, here's Knoxville's most accurate forecast from the WATE 6 on your side storm team.
6:43 is your time. Good morning. If you're just joining us, off to a quiet but muggy start outside. It's hot and steamy and the sun's not even out.
I liked how you said muggy because you need that emphasis. That is how it feels today, right?
It's going to be a super sweaty day today.
What's that face when you're walking around?
Yeah.
You too. That's great.
The glasses just fog up as soon as you walk outside. Within the past few months, I've realized that that's a thing since I started wearing glasses. Why is it so foggy? I said, oh no, it's just my glasses. 79 by 10 o'clock, warming up quickly. We're in the mid 80s by noon. We're at about 90, 91 for a high today. It's going to feel more like about 10 degrees hotter than that. So give it about 100 degrees. That's what it's going to feel like this afternoon. By 85 by noon, that'll feel like the lower and middle 90s. So get ready for it. It's going to be a scorcher today, just like yesterday, just like the day before. Again, if you're outside, if you're working in this, you got to find a way to find some shade, find some water, find some way to stay cool, and make sure you're taking some breaks. Fog right now is going to be an issue in spots. McMinn, Monroe counties right now, quarter mile, mile and a half visibility in Athens, 0.00 in Jacksboro. So Jellicoe, La Follette, McLeod Mountain, any of this I-75 corridor, once you get up through Caryville, is going to be pretty foggy. Middlesboro, quarter mile visibility. Anything less than a half a mile is going to slow you down, especially on the interstates. Anything less than a quarter of a mile is going to definitely slow you down, even on the city streets. So you got to be careful. Later on this morning, things will fade away and fade away relatively quickly. By 9 o'clock, most of our fog should be gone. 73 in Oak Ridge right now, maybe a couple showers rolling right along that I-75 corridor. Watch them pop up right there. Maybe an isolated shower near Middlesboro. 68 degrees, not bad. It's mild, it's warm, I should say. It's muggy. We're mainly rain-free, mainly dry. By 12 o'clock, nothing really going on, not much, just heat and humidity and clouds growing. Those clouds eventually grow into what could be a few strong storms. It's not going to be widespread, but I do have some strong storms in the forecast. Heavy rain will be the biggest concern, maybe some gusty winds and some lightning. That's about it. Other than some hail up into the mountains if any of those storms form in the higher elevations, but for the most part, it's just going to be a hot and humid day today with a few rumbles of thunder. Tomorrow, we start off just fine. Watch this line, redeveloping as it moves into East Tennessee, working with our daytime heating. Timing is crucial with this. Got a lot of heat, a lot of humidity, and that boundary rolling through, peak heating of the day. Could have some strong storms tomorrow. That's why tomorrow is a weather-aware day. After that leaves on Wednesday. Our temperatures drop, but our humidity stays high. Our dew points, the amount of moisture in the air, that sticks around. So mornings are going to stay muggy. Afternoons are going to stay humid. I've still got to keep some rain chances in the forecast, but they dwindle as we get closer to the weekend. Today, hottest of the next 7. Tomorrow, wettest of the next 7. And then we're looking all right for the rest of the work week and into the weekend. Temperatures not as hot as they are today, but it's still going to be super muggy. It's going to feel like that kind of tropical air mass here. So get ready for it.
We are ready. All right. Thank you, Trent. We're watching that morning drive as you head out right now. Our traffic map, for the most part, looking very good. We have one alert that has popped up this morning. I'm not seeing too much of a delay, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. This I-75 southbound, a stalled vehicle before exit 108. That's Merchants Drive. Want to give you a live look. Again, like I said, not seeing any real delays because of that. Here's I-75 just north of Merchants. I can't find this on here, so I'm going to say you have the all clear if you're heading out at this hour. Looks great. I-75 south of Callahan. If you're on 640 right now, looking fantastic, and we're seeing traffic really moving. I-40 just east of Watt Road. If we see anything that's causing any type of delays, we'll definitely pass those along as soon as they come in. Mark?
Tirsa, thanks. 647, a fiery car rescue in Atlanta caught on body camera video as officers battled the flames. This happened early Sunday morning at the end of the night shift. The officers responded to a crashed car on fire with the person trapped inside. The body camera was on Officer Charles Tierney, who used a fire extinguisher and tried to open the door. On the other side of the car is Officer Brittany Williams, trying to pull the injured man twice her size up and over the front seat and out the back.
I couldn't get my hand under the dashboard to pull him out. So once I saw his pants leg started to smoke, I was like, listen, like, you need to pull it together.
Luckily, the officers were able to pull that man out of the car. 3 victims from the wreck are in the hospital with broken bones and other serious injuries.
Glad they were there. Well, police say a shooting at a Wisconsin radio station that injured a DJ was a targeted attack.
This happened on Sunday at WORT in Madison. Police are still looking for the masked gunman who went into the station that afternoon and opened fire on 3 volunteers. The DJ who was hurt has since been released from the hospital. Police say this was not a random attack, but it also was not specifically targeting the media. The station's also reviewing security practices now since the shooter was able to get inside the building between shows.
Hawaii's Big Island is preparing for Hurricane Hector this morning. What we're told, county, federal, and state agencies met at an emergency operations center for a briefing on Sunday. Hector is expected to pass just south of the Big Island by midweek, but it will still be close enough to affect the islands. Gusty winds, rough surf, coastal flooding, and rip currents are all possible. California's wildfires growing to historic levels.
How they've now become the largest in state history, coming up.
Also still to come, here's a look at what's coming up on Good Morning America. New research showing women with heart attacks are more likely to survive if treated by another woman. And The Bachelorette gives out her final rose. Find out who Becca picked on last night's finale. Welcome back. Time to get you up to speed on this morning's top stories.
Governor Haslam now saying he will not intervene in the case of death row inmate Billy Ray Irick.
As we've been telling you, Irick is scheduled to be executed on Thursday. Governor Haslam releasing a statement last night saying that he's declining to intervene in Irick's case and that clemency is not appropriate. The state Supreme Court has also rejected Irick's most recent bid to delay the execution over the state's lethal injection method.
A Campbell County pastor now pleading guilty to rape charges. We have learned Jimmy Orrick pleaded guilty yesterday morning. This comes after he entered a not guilty plea to the charges back in March. His sentencing is set for December 14th.
A federal judge now agreeing to dismiss some parts of the lawsuit filed in connection to the Ottawa high school rape case. We've been following this story since 2015. A high school basketball player was reportedly raped with a pool cue and 3 others were attacked at a cabin in Gatlinburg. The case alleges the Hamilton County Board of Education failed to protect students on the trip. The judge now ruling former Ottawa basketball coach Andre Montgomery, athletic director Jesse Niedley, and principal James Jarvis did not violate the constitutional rights of the victims.
The Knox County Sheriff's Office is investigating possible animal abuse in northwest Knox County. This comes after a dead dog was found in Bull Run Creek over the weekend. We're told the black and brown brindle shepherd mix was recently groomed and wearing a flea collar. It appears someone tossed the dog over the bridge off of Hill Road. Anyone with information is supposed to call the Knox County Sheriff's Office at 865-215-2243.
Experts say that the twin blazes rapidly spreading in Northern California are now the state's largest wildfire in history.
The fires, known as the Mendocino Complex Fire, filling an area the size of Los Angeles.
This is all the second straight year that California has recorded its largest wildfire. On Monday, the flames grew to just over 280,000 acres, surpassing last year's fire in Southern California. The fire has burned 75 homes so far, and thousands are being forced to evacuate.
Kids here in Knox County are getting ready to head back to class tomorrow.
That means police will be keeping an eye on school zones and implementing new laws.
WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Whitney Good joins us now live with what officers and school officials want you to be keeping in mind as school starts back up. Whitney?
Well, Marketeers, it's all about keeping kids safe in those school zones. Just remember to pay attention to those flashing lights. The speed limit signs officers will be out enforcing those laws, of course. And we did mention that new law that did take effect this year. It's about cell phone usage. You cannot be on your cell phone unless it's in hands-free mode in a school zone. And if you're under the age of 18, you can't be on your cell phone at all. Definitely keep that in mind. And of course, as always, no texting and driving. They just want to keep everyone safe in the school zones. Now, Knox County Schools, the Knox County Sheriff's Office, and KPD will be having a press conference here at Rocky Hill Elementary School later this morning to talk more about that and school safety in general. Of course, we'll be here for that. We'll keep you updated on air and online, WATE.com. For now, I'll send things back to you guys, Mark and Tirsa.
All right, Whitney, it's back to school this morning for more students across East Tennessee. It's the first day of class for students in Athens, McMinn County, Roane County, and Bell County, Kentucky.
Oh, we celebrate our refrigerators being full again. Those kids are going back to school. Yes. No more trying to figure out lunch for the kids.
I thought you were talking about like the pictures on the front.
No. Because the kids get out of house and home.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it could work either way. I understand where both of you were going.
Right? No idea. Anyway, watch for walkers this morning. I know about the weather. That's about it. We've got some fog outside, so be careful. It's going to be super steamy through midday. Recess is going to be sweaty for sure. So kids, stay hydrated. Teachers, make sure your kids stay hydrated. Listen for some thunder after school today. I do have some in the forecast, but it looks like after today, tomorrow is going to be even wetter.
All right. Want to give you a live look outside? We're watching your morning drive, if I can say that. Giving you a live look outside. No slowdowns or delays. No major accidents. It's been quiet. If we get any changes, we'll pass those along in our next update coming up in 26 minutes.
Hope you have a great day.
GMA is next. Take care. You ever start talking?